deeply respected Sri Majumdar, Mr. Divekar, Praveenji, faculty of Symbiosis, parents, and my dear students. This is indeed a fantastic occasion for me. I'm completely charmed by the atmosphere that has been created here. I must say that there is a bit of envy for the fact that all of you are going to spend 2 full years in this heavenly complex. You are truly blessed. I do believe that you have everything to enable you to make the best of these 2 years. I was deeply impressed by the 2 addresses that went before me, and I'll just pick 2 or 3 things from them to re-emphasize some of the learnings that I got from the 2 extraordinary lectures. The concept of be here now. No mobiles. I'm carrying this because I have to read out something from it, so please excuse me for that. But I love that. We make it a point to make sure in our meetings that people are there when they are there. You cannot participate if you are distracted by 3 or 4 things happening around you. The big thing, outcome-based learning. I love that phrase. I have immediately a recommendation for your class to become the most known class in history so far. Are you ready to hear that?
Yes.
So here it is. Today, it is possible for you to create the ability to publish 50 articles of very high quality in the world's leading magazines. And you can do it. Ask me how. Set up a portal. Make sure that you capture. Today what has happened is that the human race has become addicted to sharing. MIT has put all its courses on the web. Any material from anywhere in the world is accessible if you know how to search it and you know what to search for. And therefore, it is possible for you to virtually co-create the writing of these 50 extraordinary articles by engaging with the world. And let me tell you why I believe this is not theory. When I was doing up my home, the person who was taking my measurements was sitting in Chandigarh. He was able to measure the dimensions of every room, send the dimensions to Houston, where the designer was putting together the furniture in the sizes that would fit. The furniture was ordered from China, came onto a ship to Mumbai, and got lifted through a crane into my home with perfect accuracy. So what the internet has done today is it has created the ability for you to engage the best minds from the world on a subject of your choosing. If you set up this portal and are in a position to construct these 50 articles, imagine what will happen when 50 magazines all over the world has the byline written by class of 21 Symbiosis Institute. That will be your greatest outcome-based learning. Please do this. Each one of your extracurricular mandals that you have can equally be completely transformed through engaging of people and ideas from all over the world. I think this is an opportunity that was never available before today. And it is for us to take it up to make our tomorrow extraordinary. And finally, to connect both the speeches, I want to share with you one practice that I have adopted 365 days a year. I have to do this. I have to have my 15 minutes of meditation in the morning. This morning I woke up at 3:45. Yoga and deep breathing. That gets the day and the health, sir, which you mentioned, going. By God's grace, after 60, I've not had to rest for a single day. And that is because of the lesson, sir, that today you gave all the students. Take care of your health. Create a regimen that will be good for you for the rest of your life, whatever it may be. The human hardware needs that continuous, regular, attentive servicing every day. And if you can do that, you will never fail to extract the greatest value from your education. Sir, you gave me the remembrance of the fact that today we are living in a world of abundance. We are not living in a world which we were living, I was living maybe 25 years ago, where there was a shortage of everything. If I wanted to make a mobile phone, I had to pay 16 rupees a minute. Today it's free. Completely free. And when I look at the flow of data on this one device, the extent of video content which comes in today on a daily basis is more than the total downloads that I used to do in a whole year. It's just astonishing. It's suddenly become a world of abundance. And that's what you made me remember, sir. We need to change the lens through which we see the world. Before that, let's define life. What is life? And let us not forget, how many of you have read Yuval Harari's books? Anybody here who has read Yuval Harari? Homo sapiens? Okay, sapiens, Homo Deus, okay. What is coming to become the reality is that we should not assume ourselves to be the most evolved race. It is possible for a more evolved race to actually emerge. And therefore we need to define life in terms of its basic elements. We need to define it in terms of complexity, ability to enhance complexity and still stay stable by continually responding to an ever-changing, daunting, ever-abundant environment. That's one way in which life can be defined. And the other way, the other characteristic which is essential for life is the ability to replicate. You need to replicate if you want to scale, if you want to address the needs of the world, you need to replicate. And therefore, we are in a world which is going to be defined by technology. And by technology, I don't mean just information technology. I would add biotechnology and nanotechnology as the triumvirate of technologies which will create a new singularity. That is one of the important constructs. The world is working towards bringing these technologies together to transform and change life every day. And that is why you experience this incredible pace of change. It's going to continue. It's going to accelerate. The Die Progress Unit is going to be 1 month. So every month, you will feel so shocked by the change and by the new things that this abundant world offers you, that you would have a near-death experience. Because all your past experiences are invalidated or can be improved upon dramatically, fundamentally. The environment. That is something that I would request every person in this room to give deep, concerted attention to. The world has run out of capacity to manage human waste and to manage the way human beings think that they can better their life. And therefore, that has to reverse. And maybe that's one subject of your portalized research. How do we reverse the damage that we are today doing to the environment? But above all, is the message that both the earlier speeches gave, which is networking. The world has switched. The fundamental building block of learning is no longer dependent on a particular pedagogy. It is now dependent on how well you can collaborate with whoever you can network with whoever you can find to suit a particular learning purpose. And so, are you ready for a very quick exercise?
Yes.
Turn to your left or your right and say a very heartfelt hello, how are you, to your neighbor. It's an amazing feeling, isn't it? How often we sit in an airplane, we sit in the car, we sit somewhere, don't say hello to the person next to you. It's so critical. At the end of your 2 years, truly, like somebody in the movie said, you should have 900 at least collaborators. 300 from the previous batch, 300 from the later batch, and 300 from your own batch. And if you can multiply that to the 27 years for which the Institute has been in existence, just imagine what a high degree of collaboration. You can do virtually anything in the world today. Absolutely anything. If you can find a way to connect and collaborate. And therefore, the entire challenge has shifted, in my mind, to a single point of reference. How good a conversation can you develop? Can you sustain? Can you keep engaged? That's it. It's that simple. Think about it. What is important is that you should be in a position to own the space that you are in, be there now, and converse in a way that you are deeply, respectfully sharing. If you can do that, the learning that you will experience, your ability to connect the dots is already so humongous because of the internet. To that, you add your social skills of conversation. The key thing has become community. Raghuram Rajan's latest book, Thomas Friedman's latest book, all of them he talks about the third pillar, he talks about thank you for being late, because he was thanking this hawker at a New York train station who held him up so that he could have a conversation. It just moved to conversations and how deeply and richly you can have them. And you can do that only if you have the strength of your values. Again, something that both the previous speakers alluded to. And I would choose integrity as the most important fundamental value that we need to adapt in this country today. We have seen what happens when crony capitalism delivers 15 lakh crores of non-performing assets. We have seen what happens when people who are mere independent directors have their assets frozen, have their ability to move truncated, because we did not together in a collaborative way create an environment of integrity. The second is discipline. Again, sir, I borrow that from your. I feel it's an absolutely critical value. Add to that pride and ambition, and you have the makings of being the finest person participating in a conversation which will lead to learning. What are today the greatest sources of learning? I've obviously mentioned the internet, and there's so much extraordinary content that is available. As Dr. Majumdar has instructed, I will share with you my habit on reading, if that is of any value to anybody. I start my day with briefly looking at the headlines in the New York Times and the Financial Times of London, so I get a little bit of a global perspective. There's the Economic Times and Times of India and Indian Express online. And there is the rich source of the Harvard Business Review and the McKinsey Insights, which enable me to just see what is the new thought that is being debated. So a month ago it was Manufacturing 4.0. I'm reading a book which is called Life 3.0. And there is The Economist, which I believe is the foundational reading, which I would recommend. Even if there is one downloadable copy of Economist for your institution, anybody who reads Economist for 5 years, every issue, every week, will be in a position to challenge and stay in a conversation with anybody, anywhere in the world. That is my guarantee to you. 5 years, every week. Because otherwise you don't get the pattern. You can't connect the dots. So that's important. And to my mind, behavior really determines your starting out position. It's so important to have a deep respect, again something that I learned this morning, for your teachers, for your elders, for people around. Your behavior will become your first level entry into any space. The first 3-4 acts that you demonstrate will become your calling card and your entry into the conversation. Remember, collaboration is what will take you where you wish to go. Remember that human, social, value-based, interactive conversations, exploiting what is there in this abundant world, putting it together, connecting the dots, continually learning, respecting good behavior, will enable you to take that maximum advantage of the 2 wonderful years that you are about to spend at this phenomenal institution. My best wishes to you. I'm sure that if you apply yourself with the right technology, talent, behavior, and attitude, you will get there. You will be enshrined in at least the history of SIS and maybe in many other histories. In the end, let me just read out this wonderful couplet, which is very germane to today's occasion. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, असफलता एक चुनौती है, स्वीकार करो। क्या कभी रह गई, क्या कमी रह गई, देखो और सुधार करो। जब तक न सफल हो, नींद चैन को त्यागो, तुम संघर्ष का मैदान छोड़ के मत भागो। तुम कुछ किए बिना ही जय जय कर नहीं होते, कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती, लहरों से डर कर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। So go ahead, take on the biggest challenges, and I have no doubt that you will succeed. Thank you very much.